Looks like we may still have a couple of folks connecting to audio. Give it about one more minute, and then we'll go ahead and get rolling. I was talking a little bit earlier while folks were jumping in and joining, so sorry if this is redundant. But if this is one of your first times being able to attend one of the training sessions, thank you so much for making time, especially at the end of the month and the middle of the day for some of you folks. We also look to be doing these, we do them three times daily. We do them actually 9 times weekly, Tuesday through Thursday. So we're going to be doing rotating topics from everything, very beginning of Revolution Parts and platform basics, all the way down through to everything with a fine toothpick comb. We look to be growing this content as well. So we really look forward to y'all's feedback, participation when you're comfortable to do so. All of this is going to be for you guys. We'll go ahead and get started. Again, if you're having problems dialing into audio or hearing, let me know in the chat. I'll be keeping one eye on that as we have other folks coming in. But we'll go ahead and get started with today's training. So today's training, of course, we're getting together to talk about reporting basics and just general best practices. Why are reports important? How are we going to add them into our day-to-day? We'll kick off with a quick introduction to Revolution Parts and to myself for anyone who may not be immediately familiar. From there, we'll jump straight into the different types of reporting that we have available through Revolution Parts or your other selling channels and why they're important. We'll go to a live demo within Revolution Parts, just walk through what to expect when pulling reports and how you can leverage them across departments. And then we'll wrap everything up with recommendations and questions. This is a pretty quick and easy topic, so I don't expect us to use the full half hour. If I can get you guys out of here earlier, I want to. If you have questions, feedback, again, feel free to unmute or throw anything in the chat. Real quickly, in regards to who we are and who I am, if you're not real familiar with Revolution Parts just yet, we're born and raised in Phoenix, Arizona. We're an assortment of former parts and automotive professionals, e-commerce experts, and digital marketing masters. We've been in the industry a little bit since before 2014. 2014 is when we officially became Revolution Parts. But we've been a leader in the e-commerce industry since then, helping our dealerships of all shapes and sizes across the country to sell more than $1 billion in parts online. A lot of this growth also happened within the last couple of years, despite what we've seen with COVID and some of the supply and manufacturing challenges. So this is really encouraging for the future we have ahead once things get back to normal. As far as I go, I'm Kristen Siren, and I'm part of our dealer advisor team. I work predominantly in trainings like these, either for large groups or on one-to-one. I also work directly with our OEM program participants. So if you're a Stellantis base or Plus customer, BMW Canada, eStore, MB USA, et cetera, I will be one of your main contacts. In addition to me, we have a team of other revolutionaries. Some of you, depending on your subscription, will get partnered with a dedicated success manager for ongoing continued support, training, and performance. We also have our support team, which is available in office from 8 to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can call them directly, send them an email, or get them in chat. If for some reason you don't reach an agent directly by any of your means, our response time right now is less than 23 minutes. And outside of the people touch, we have 24/7 assistance and training. Most of it's provided in our knowledge base in Revolution Parts. This is just a growing library of ongoing content and training, whether it's walkthrough videos, general settings and best practices, FAQs, et cetera. This is a great tool to know when you're first getting used to Revolution Parts, or also as you add additional users to your program, maybe more countermen or services getting involved as well. In most situations, 9 times out of 10, in fact, our dealers have told us they've been able to answer a question or solve a problem just by using our knowledge base. When it comes to reporting, I'm sure we all understand why it's important, so I'm not going to break down through everything on this slide. Ultimately, what it comes down to is reporting will make it super easy for all of the stakeholders across your dealership to know and understand how you're doing and how we, as your e-commerce partner, are doing. Reports are broken down into 4 major categories that cover payment, sales, shipment, and tax. These reports can be customized by any date range. You can also separate it out by multiple stores or one or some. These can also be viewed in app or exported to an Excel, so they're very easy to customize and share. Additionally, any users within RevolutionParts that are set up will have access to reports, and in some cases, we do recommend that your dealership controller, fixed ops, or GM have an account as well, strictly for quick access to information. In addition to what we provide built in with RevolutionParts, depending on your selling channels, we also use Google Analytics for our web store and paid marketing campaigns. Additionally, with paid marketing services that we offer, we use Google Data Studio, which is a real-time report that will update to help show you the return on investment for your ad spend, cost per click, customer acquisition cost, et cetera. Last but not least, if you guys are also selling on any marketplaces that we integrate with, like eBay, Amazon, or Walmart.com, that information, order information, will be translated into RevolutionParts reporting. However, we always recommend that you also use their individual seller hubs for even more extensive or customized reporting. Typically, when you have multiple marketplaces as well, this come in handy when you're doing your reconciliation, particularly if you're using a payment gateway like PayPal. From here, we're going to jump right on into the demo within RevolutionParts, but I do want to take a quick pause as I usually do. Do we have any questions or any comments at this time in regards to reports? Feel free to unmute yourself if you like. You can also use the chat. If there are no questions, we'll keep on rolling, but feel free to interrupt. It doesn't hurt my feelings. So when you come into RevolutionParts, we have a report tab that's already built in along the top navigation, and this will be broken out into the 4 different sections, like I explained, for payment, sales, shipment, and tax. Reports will also live in your bulk report tab. So this is going to be a rolling documentation of all of the reports that you have downloaded through your lifetime with RevolutionParts. You can also view any potential errors or warnings that may have been in those reports. Which reports you use really vary upon your dealership and what you guys may already have in place with other standalone customer management systems or DMS systems. From a parts perspective, I particularly like to draw attention to a couple of reports that help us to identify potential lost sales or lost revenue, as well as ways that we can improve our overall profitability and customer experience. Some of my favorite reports are going to be within the sales section and the shipment section. Because it is an Excel sheet, I pulled up a couple of examples to show you. We're going to start with the completed orders by state, and this is one of my favorite reports for a number of reasons. I myself, I'm on the East Coast. I work with a lot of dealers here on the East Coast, and I also see a lot of those dealers selling a ton of online orders to the West Coast. So the volume is great. Getting that market share is great, but it also opens up the potential to lose a little bit on shipping and cut into your overall profitability. By going in and evaluating our orders by state, whether it's on a monthly or a quarterly basis, we can get a quick, easy snapshot as to how many orders we're getting from each state, as well as what tax amounts are being applied. The tax amount's particularly important because when you're set up with Revolution Parts, you should already have your tax settings done, whether that's done through manual calculation, automatic, or if you enrolled in our Marketplace Tax Comply program. Selecting tax and reporting it on e-commerce is extremely important and has become very heavily regulated since 2018. Aside from tax information and potential shipping opportunities, I really like to use this report in cases where we're doing any kind of marketing, even if you're doing it within your own dealership. This could be through social media, traditional marketing, television, radio, anything of that nature. This gives a really good indication of where your customers are and where you have an opportunity to grow your market. In addition to some of the other sales reports, we of course have your gross profit and your net profit by date. These are going to be fairly basic because while we integrate with most of your selling channels, like eBay or Amazon or our Revolution Parts hosted web store, we're not going to note any other incidentals that you may have within the dealership, especially those that could be related to your payment gateway or other third-party providers. So these reports are great to use in addition to any existing reporting or tools that you use at the dealership. You can also pull information to see how your customers are being impacted or uncover training opportunities on the parts counter through reports like cancellation reasons, abandoned cart summaries, and warehouse performance. Aside from that, another report I love to let my parts guys know about is going to be shipment costs. And this is an easy way to identify where you may have a potential bleed when it comes to your shipping methods. When we pull the report up and process it, we'll get a breakdown of our total number of orders and their subtotals, the shipping that was charged, as well as the method, what your cost was, and ultimately what your profit was on that. This is a great way to easily identify bleeds, again, in regards to shipping. You can then go back and use this report to go into your shipping settings, as we reviewed in earlier trainings, to customize your pickup percentages or other parameters. Tax reconciliation, again, we have reports available in here as well. If your dealership has enrolled in our Marketplace Tax Comply program, we take care of the taxes on all of your e-commerce orders for you. You will still have access to that information and detailed reporting. However, you will receive additional reporting direct from Revolution Parts. I'm going to pause here before I go to the next slide, because that's really kind of the long and the short of it. It's hard to make reports really exciting. But as far as going in and how you pull them, select your preferred report. It's going to default typically to a 30-day window. You can put in a custom range here, of course, or choose from one of these presets. You can also decide if you want to break this down by a different time period, so you can get more high level by looking at it from a monthly perspective, or be super granular by looking at it on a daily level. Also, if you have multiple selling channels, you can choose to look at all stores cumulative or run reports for each individual store. Does anyone have any questions in regards to reports, or is there anything I can go back over in better detail? Feel free to unmute, use the chat. This stuff's pretty easy peasy, but again, I would love y'all's feedback. Reports too is something that we're actively doing a lot of work on so that we can continue to make them more beneficial to you guys. If you've already had a chance to talk to our support team or access the knowledge base, we do have a number of ways for you guys to submit feedback as well. So we would love to see what information is most valuable to you. Ultimately, at the end of the day, our goal is to help you guys make money. We want our program, our partnership, to be an investment and not an expense. Reporting goes a long way to helping us communicate and be transparent in regards to overall investment with the product, results, order value, etc. So some recommendations we always have in regards to reporting is going to be to utilize them as much as possible. Make them part of your daily routine, and especially look at any reports that can give you an indication as to where you may be losing profit on a monthly or quarterly basis. We always recommend too, if you're selling on additional marketplaces like Amazon, eBay, or Walmart.com, that you get very familiar with their seller hub and their reporting capabilities. In a lot of circumstances, especially our larger dealerships that do high volume orders, will use a mixture of RevolutionParts reporting, Google Analytics, PayPal reporting, and reporting from their marketplaces. As I touched about, one of our goals with reporting is to be able to provide end-to-end transparency in your performance and the overall return on your investment. This is going to include access to Google Analytics and Google Data Studio reports as well. Plus, reports, no matter which way you pull them from, whether it's RevolutionParts or one of your other marketplaces, are incredibly helpful to help identify lost opportunity, potential bleeds, as well as how to improve your overall customer experience. And that is it. That is all. Like I said, pretty quick. Does anyone have any questions, or does anyone want to check out some different reports? All right, I don't see much coming through in the chat. Looks like we're all good. Okay, thank you, thank you. Guys, I'm gonna let you get some time back in your day. I know it's extremely important. Thank you so much for hooking up with me today to join this training. I hope to see you next week as well. And if I could be of any service or support, please just give me a holler. Have a great day, and thank you guys so much for being a part of the revolution.